Dear Dylan, do you remember as children when we used to visit the butcher shop with Mom and Dad? It smelled of meat drippings, air-conditioned piles of fat which gave off a pleasant aroma. Dad usually bought a large, round steak. Our eyes restlessly cataloged the endless variety of red meat cuts under the glass display cases. We watched the butcher in the back. We saw the cleavers on the wall. Enough meat to feed a small town for a month, served to people in fine restaurants all over the world. Yet here it was undigestible, blood-colored, and if you were to eat it right now, you would probably get a violent stomachache or worse. It was life with the skin peeled off, raw and pretty much undigestible. What was your first experience with the theater?
My first experience with the theater, or a theater?
The theater.
My first experience with the theater was when I was about 11 years old. I performed an act on stage with a fake dog in front of the entire town.
It must have been excruciating.
It's called, the act was called My Dog Crash. And this friend of mine put a dog outfit on, and I did tricks in front of the audience, so the dog, didn't do any of the tricks like it was supposed to. The dog kind of made fun of me.
What about you, Jeff?
My first experience with theater was Dave's Butcher Shop. In my past, there was never any room for anything like arts.
You might have known.
As you might have known.
Applicable for the butcher shop title.
And with all these cringing zombies.
With cringing zombies.
Choking on
tremendous gore.
Cooking with tremendous zombies. We were gonna write Boris Yeltsin suspended in animation. It towers over.
Boris Yeltsin suspended in animation?
Towers over.
Mutton?
Body
That's
chopping.
pretty good body chopping season.
I have more
Can't deny the
And
Oh, yeah? No?
Whoa, he's weird, man.
Don't act for the camera, Dylan. Just enjoy.
Yeah,
You with the candy, Casey?
this is right from the double.
Don't fuck with it. Are you gonna make him into a ghost?
I'm gonna fuck with it a little bit.
Oh shit, now.
Dear Dylan, do you remember when you wrote to me that you were frustrated with the crush of minds at your college? You said there were those who weighed your ideas not by the word or the expression you used, but by their similarity to their professor's rhetoric. Your ideas were replaced by someone else's ideas, which were already prepared for your digestion before you ever set foot in the kitchen. Simply put, you had dishes cooking, but no one to eat them. That's why we built the butcher shop, so we can work with our own raw materials, and so people will have to taste what we cook.
Actually, my first experience in theater was, I remember, even younger than 11, going downtown and seeing this beautiful woman on this poster, and looking at the poster, it was advertising a play called Pure as the Driven Snow, and the beautiful woman was my mother, and I didn't recognize her at first, and I saw the poster and I looked at her, and then I realized that's my mother because she was a star in the show. It was a community theater.
I was wrong too. My first experience at theater. When I broke my arm the last time, they sent me to Sacramento, and I was stuck there for 5 days, and I saw True West with Sam Shepard 5 days, and I went all 5.
Bigger.
Matter. Well, let's make it bigger.
Dimmer. Dimmer, stop. Cougars will conquer you. Jesus, you.
What are you doing there, Case?
I'm cutting her eye hole.
Oh, Michael.
This is black beans with our own wild mint sauce. These are Japanese eggplants sauteed in vinegar and olive oil, balsamic vinegar.
What's the idea for this song?
The idea of this song was Graham and I standing around together, him with his tenor saxophone, I with my trumpet, and we hit those first three notes kind of together on accident, just fucking around one time. And then it's just natural to then go up. And then we started playing it. And then that's what I sat down to work on, was what to do after that. And I got this.
Dear Dylan, what the band served up this year, with their patented lack of fury, was a multicultural, jazzed-up, NyQuil-laced, spare change, cocktail lounge, tree-trimmed, reheated kind of midnight breakfast omelet. The band's melodies, victims of a sorrowful lack of musicianship, somehow sprouted arms and legs and moved herky-jerky toward an awkward embrace with the drama on stage.
Wasn't it
Horror House?
Monk Aka?
This Horror House? Which, is this the rocket ship going off or the...
Yeah, blast off. Monk Aka.
What about a horn line for it?
Yeah, there's gotta be some horn in there doing the... Maybe the horns will have to do the... The horns, could they do that?
Just something that's like build up a lot and then a lot of noise. Then it needs to start into a groove, it's like something not as frenzied.
Okay.
Then, like something like jing 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 jing.
But is the rocket gone? Is the rocket gone?
It's still flying
It's
around.
still flying around?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's gonna fly around for like a minute.
So we know that's not what we want. So now okay, I got Kim on it.
I just
How if you go 1, 2, 3, back? Down,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Because it'll help me. Retarded. What? Can you keep doing that? Do it with the stick. Can you keep doing that while I think you should still have the cymbals going while I play the part. You think?
Right, yeah.
to the Star of Bethlehem to make it with a God I've never met.
Why is it called the butcher shop?
That was never explained to me in my satisfaction. That was never explained to me in my satisfaction why it was called the butcher shop. In fact, I argued staunchly and I argued with all possible vigor that I could muster that it probably should not be called the butcher shop. That was probably, well, somewhat disgusting. But naturally, the people who live here, the two brothers, the Latimer brothers and their parents, I guess if they decided it should be called the butcher shop, well then, you know, their choice.
Dear Dylan, Dad decided at the last minute he wanted to perform Jerry Spence's oratory on the Karen Silkwood case. It was too long and bulky, and I felt we lacked the time necessary to get it on its feet. Luckily, Brad Moniz was lurking somewhere nearby. Brad took Dad and 4 other lawyers, put masks on them, taught them some mime, tape-recorded the reading himself, and shoved them in front of butcher shop audiences with 2 days' preparation. I told him it was the worst piece in the show. He agreed, though he probably didn't. If you could have heard his words as they slithered through the audience, he caught every pockmark in Spence's skin-tight lawyerly prose. He turned a closing argument into a children's story.
But lawyers long ago learned to abandon ordinary English. Worse, their minds have been smashed and serialized, and their brain cells restacked so that they no longer can explode in every direction, with joy, with love, and rage. If you were in the jury box, you could also hear about the law pertaining to inherently dangerous substances. But perhaps if you were a juror, you would rather hear a story about a man who had captured a vicious lion and who had brought it to his own private property. And there, very carefully, he put it in a cage. And to make sure the lion did not get away, he put another cage around the cage. And he locked all the doors. And then to make sure that the locks held, he put on some more locks. And then he put locks on the locks. But one night, while the lion's owner was sleeping, the lion escaped. No one knows just how. He went charging through the village, injuring and killing innocent people. When the townspeople came to the owner and demanded their damages, he said, "Can't you see it's not my fault the lion escaped? See here, see the cage? It was very secure. See the locks? See the locks on the locks on the locks? They were very strong. I am not to be blamed." But the townspeople said, "Neither are we to be blamed. It's not we who brought the lion to the village. It was you. And if your lion escapes, you are responsible."
Afterwards, Brad told us that acting was too important to be left to the professionals.
The butcher shop this year is going to be a theater for adults. Adults only. Frosted Crystal or Scuba?
Scuba.
Scuba. We choose Scuba. Oh, you want that?
Is this interior, exterior?
Interior. We're presently going to the butcher shop to paint Melody Blue all over the butcher shop. I can drive there. I can drive there faster than anyone. With my Galaxy Gold gloves and my tin can helmet, I can be the speed racer of the highway.
Dear Dylan, I have the urge, the need to write. I think there is a great, tantalizingly empty space in a writer's mind which has a lot of elbow room, and writing is like taking a wild forearm swing at the phantom sitting next to you in the empty airline seat. When you talked to Jolie and me this summer, you reminded us that writing was like sculpting. And just like no one could run their hands through a block of clay and duplicate the calf muscle of Michelangelo's David, so no one can take my characters home and use them to clean their kitchen or live in their plays. Because once I've found the idiom that the character exists in, then they begin to suffer from the ailments only I suffer from. And before you can make an acute diagnosis, another year of butcher shop comes along, or you go to another play, or someone you know at work is arrested for murder, or you read another Raymond Carver story. And this time, the character is carved out of a block of ice, not a block of clay.
The fluids inside your belly, like that of a cockle shells, pounding away at life's current. The fury of another life.
The fury of another life.
But inside, the woman's body tugs at the tide. The tug and the give. I'll confide in you, Alma. That's what I find most attractive about women. Is the tug and the give.
What?
What are you making tonight, Dad?
We all heard it.
Cooking shrimp. Shrimp, coconut sauce.
Anything else?
Little jumbo, little prosciutto.
Put this in the biscuit.
Yeah. In the abyss.
September 5th is my birthday. September 4th is Artaud's birthday, in Artaud. And every September, on the 1st, we do these plays. And I didn't realize that till just this week, that we do our plays right when this month is beginning. And we were born like on the same year, of numbers of the year and everything. So I want it to be just like something he would do if he were alive. And his plays are all about like the destruction of the word, and just about movements and things that totally preclude the word, like make the word useless. Because you can say so much more with just simply walking out here, like I explained before, you yell, and saying so much more like with just like a look to the audience or something. And so what this needs to be about, not that that's disappointing that your words aren't going to mean anything, but that your physicality should overlook it somehow, or you should think about your physicality before you deliver any word, any line.
Dear Dylan, I was worried about the neighbors. They were bothered by the late-night rehearsals with the band. The trumpet and the saxophone disturbed that English professor who lived across the alley and was working on the second chapter of his book on who really wrote Shakespeare's plays. Then there was the elderly woman next door who never came to the performances. We thought, perhaps, in silent protest of the noise and parking problems which the rehearsals brought to our neighborhood. But later I went to see her, and she assured me that she appreciated the nighty-night jazz music we played, and she wished she could attend the shows, but she was allergic to the outdoors. That's a good one, because if you know it, starting, you know.
I know when you know the part about I'm drunk today. You know that verse. Why don't you sing that verse?
I'm drunk today, and I'm rarely sober. A handsome rover from town to town. Oh, but I am sick, and my days are numbered. So come all ye young men and lay me down.
Here's some Reggiano Parmesan from Italy. And we need to fry up some more of these tomatoes, chop some of this Italian parsley, smash some more of this garlic. Let a few of these down. take some of these olives, take the pits out, chop them up. Those are cured in olive oil. And toss it all together, and that's pasta of the evening.
Pasta of the evening, huh?
Called good luck pasta. The whole idea of it is that those ingredients are scientifically calculated to keep people from forgetting their lines.
That way. That goes to the shadow light.
Mr. Latimer, that you've written a play this summer.
Yeah, it's called The Tug and the Give.
Mm-hmm. The Tug and the Give, what's it about?
It's about a pregnant woman.
Uh-huh.
And she's taken to a wake. Not taken to, she's in a wake, an Irish wake.
So she's of Irish descendants?
No, she married an Irish kind of American.
Where's the play set place?
The play is set in the living room of a Chico drunk. It's realism.
Mm-hmm.
And we have great actors this year for it, who I think I'm hoping will transcend the scripted roles they were given.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically deals with the females. The modern one of the problems that females have had to deal with in in everyday life, which is the spiritual versus the material. Dear Dylan, strange friendships arose out of the creative process. Casey, the Artaud lookalike, the gaunt playwright who was nocturnal and who subsisted on a steady diet of sunflower seeds and Japanese science fiction. Jeff, the grizzled cowboy, one of the only people who knew anything about electricity at our theater. He told me once that electricity was my enemy, not my friend, and that it was to be feared. He was a philosophical mechanic who came down from the Sierra Nevadas 10 years ago to find peace of mind and a new wife in Chico. He found neither, but found us, the Latimer family, the butcher shop, and Casey. He took Casey to his garden, where they harvested his giant Roma tomatoes together. He took Casey to his garage and showed his 1960s comic book collection. These two men, one a 22-year-old college student who wrote absurdist drama in the vein of that great Belgian playwright Michel de Gelderode, the other a 40-year-old mechanic and part-time theater electrician with 3 kids and alimony and 5 dead pickups on his property, found each other, struggling to make the same thing work, to stick an electrode in the carcass and make this theater come alive on Labor Day weekend. Can you even get this separate?
Every night. Every night I remind myself why I left him. But tonight he's back there with his friend and he's laughing and I'm still thinking about it. What gets me to sleep every night is thinking about who I was with him and how far that is from the person I know I am. It's like this baby is all the parts of me that are good and that are alive. And it's like the bad parts I want to get rid of. It's like they're with Gordon. It's like they died.
See how this is all designed with the extension cords here? Show them my light table.
Extension cords run through the house.
Right here. No, this right here. This right here. This right here.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, this means just these switches control certain plugs here. So theoretically, it's totally mobile. I can just pick up and use extension cords to run from here to the light anywhere I want. I've got switches right here, which go to these 2 plugs. These 4 dimmers go to these 4. These are constant power for...
Dear Dylan, maybe this was the last year of the butcher shop. I don't know. We had the plays in the backyard. Nobody came but the neighbors, who brought some friends, and a gaggle of relatives who brought some wine to go along with Dad's Sacramento River shad soup, homemade tortellini, and eggplant shish kebabs. I forgot about Casey's parents. They came every night, to see probably if their son had improved as a playwright. Jolie and I wrote a play whose setting was at the wake of a guy named Finnegan. We didn't realize it had already been done. I was sitting on the stage before the last night's performance, trying to remember the last time I was truly furious at someone. I couldn't, but I remembered all the times I've been scared. I remembered when you were 9 and I was 10, and Dad took us fishing and made us cross Mill Creek in 4-foot-high rapids. I slipped on a rock, but Dad caught hold of my sleeve. I was scared then, scared for my life. People began to take their seats, and the band began to warm up, and I was sitting there, dumbly, trying to figure out why I'm never angry, and I'm always scared.
I first met him, he was in my English class. And then I had him in metaphysics and then in English again. He was a very unusual student, very unusual. He was very sincere. He was also very simple. Now he got B's, well, C's mostly, but he worked hard. And there was something about him, something he said, or something he saw, or something he heard, or that he didn't hear, that no one else heard. He was confused.
Either of you see this as an extension of your past pursuits or your future goals or hopes?
No, actually, I hope to tear this theater down and make it into a two-car garage someday with a automatic door.
I don't. I hope the butcher shop goes on for a long time.